What if I told you the secret to winning is to aggressively and relentlessly gaslight yourself every time life kicks you in the nuts? As in, you can strategically psyop yourself into acting the way you should act instead of the way you feel like acting. It's worked extremely well for me, and don't worry, I will give you plenty of examples. Number 1, when you're being indecisive and you can't decide what it is that you actually want, ask yourself, if I knew for a fact that anything in the world that I tried would work out, what would I try? And the reason you have to do this is because one of the biggest ways that people self-sabotage is by convincing themselves that they don't want something, when in reality, they want it very much and they're just afraid to go after it because deep down they feel like they can't get it. Personally, I've done this many times, wiggling my way out of applying for this job or that job or talking to this person or that person, telling myself that I didn't really want it anyway and that's why I'm not trying, when in reality, I wanted it very much. I just had a lot of imposter syndrome. Number 2, when you're afraid of looking stupid, pretend that you're on your deathbed and ask yourself how you're going to feel looking back in this moment. Are you going to regret giving it your best shot? This is not meant to be purely motivational, by the way. Sometimes the risk is really not worth it. But the thing is, fear makes everybody stupid. Some people avoid doing things because they're scary, while others go out of their way to do that exact thing because it terrifies them. Like they get a rush out of proving that they could, which is why it's useful to think about your future self looking back. Number 3, if I've decided the risk is worth it, but I'm still feeling anxious, I like to pretend that my entire world is a simulation and I am just here to have the best time possible and try to do as many cool things as possible. Kind of like that episode on Rick and Morty where they play that game Roy in an alien arcade. Number 4, if you're down in the dumps because you just failed, you tell yourself, that was an expensive lesson, but I'm really glad I learned it now because it could have been so much more expensive if I'd had to learn it later down the line. Number 5, when you are emotional and tilted and you can't think straight, ask yourself, what am I going to think next, and is that going to help me solve my problem? Because here's the thing, changing the way you talk to yourself is the first step towards changing how you think and ultimately becoming a better person. If you want to stop making the mistakes you've probably been making for most of your life, psyoping yourself into thinking more productively is step 1.